Welcome to the Fun Astrology Weekly Overview and this special announcement that we're going to be talking about the new website, what I'm making changes to the website, why, and how that relates to you if you're in one of the courses or you've bought things from the website in the past. We're going to talk about all of that, which was kind of the result of a Mercury retrograde earthquake last weekend. So I thought, let's take a look before we jump into the story. Let's look at the chart of a real earthquake because there is something significant happening this week. It is Mars moving into Libra, and that happens on Wednesday. I'll show you the chart on that here in just a second. And with that, we've been talking about it. Mars will be directly across the chart, opposition, from the vortex of the Great Pyramid. And then, of course, obviously, as we've been showing you on Wednesdays, went too far, scratch on the brakes. There we go. So all of this forms what's called in astrology a kite. And that's one of the most positive aspects there is. So why are we going through things like 8.8, 8.7? My app said 8.8. I think they adjusted it. Hasn't been I heard it was the sixth largest. Why are we going through these things under this sky? Well, from very beginning, when we started talking about the history of Pluto in Aquarius, that we're talking about radical transformational stuff, revolutionary. Of course, we know that Uranus always brings fun and games to the table, surprises, and they're connected. And then we've been really observing how Saturn and Neptune together are going to respond because one of these was present where it is in the last American Civil War. This was present in the last two Revolutionary Wars. This has been present in every war, and this was there, you go two times back, it was there in the late 60s for RFK, MLK, campus riots, etc. So we know the volatility of this combination, and the thing that's unique is never has all of this been connected like this in human history. So I think it's dangerous to just march out and say things about, oh, this and that is going to happen. We don't have any precedents, and I think we have to observe. But the one thing we do know is that these three aspects connecting these three planets are positive. And then when Mars moves into Libra, that also is positive. So we have our kite formation. So we have to trust that these things are for our good. And that's the presupposition that I'm having. So last weekend, what took place is I was sitting there on Sunday just getting ready for the day. And I get this email, ding, ding, ding. Well, I checked it, but it was there. Maybe it was just a prompt. I don't know, because, I wouldn't probably have normally looked. My websites were down. So I started looking at the problem. My websites are WordPress websites. If you know anything about constructing websites, you know exactly what that means. You have to have hosting. I'm not with one of these shared GoDaddy, all this kind of thing. I guess I should be. I'm with a dedicated server. So I only have 3 websites, and that's all that's on the server that hosts those 3 sites. I did that so the courses would never be a problem. Well, this company that I'm with, downtime for them is extremely rare. And apparently this was a power outage in Newark, New Jersey, of all places. So as I continued to watch through the day, it was out. I really didn't have a good way to communicate with you guys. So finally, when it did go into day 2, it looked like it was not going to be resolved quickly. I put an announcement up. So some of you heard that prior to the podcasts on the audio channel. Couldn't do it on YouTube. You can't come back and put an announcement on YouTube. That's why I like the audio, because you can put these pre-announcements on it. So I at least said, hey, the website is down. Started getting emails from people who were trying to log into the course, and everybody agreed, oh, it must be Mercury retrograde. You guys are smart. You're a smart audience. You are smart astrologers. Yes, Mercury retrograde, with a little bit of Mars moving in over there to Libra, opposing back over to the vortex planets, and you've got a cocktail there for volatility. And that's exactly what happened. And it wasn't just an outage of a few minutes or an hour or something like that. Oh, no. Just like it wasn't a small earthquake, it was out all day, went to bed, still out, woke up, still out, and then by Monday about noon, I think it was back. Look, here's the deal. I have muddled through those WordPress websites for the last about dozen years, and I'm no more. I went to Macintosh from Windows back in 2004, and I never have looked back. Macs are just easy. Windows takes noodling with. So I'm going to move from WordPress. So funastrology.com as we know it today will be gone as of September 15th. We're going to do it through the 14th. So when you get up on the 15th, funastrology.com will come over to the new website that I'm going to show you here in just a second. And my other two sites, which is hightimelinebooks.com, hightimelinepublishing.com, that's already, well, no, that's going to point over. It's not there yet. It's going to point over to. And then I had a little business card website that I've merged in as well. So 3 sites merging into one. You see, I'm dealing with my own Gemini rising sign here. Instead of being out here all over the place and having 16, what email do I use for you? I'm stopping all of this. Finally. I'm also looking at, as I'm marching up the timeline, it's time to peel some things back a little bit and simplify. And I want to get this in a package where one day it will be handed off, and I want to be able to hand a nice package, not chaos. So I'm going to go to a platform that I was using about 7 years ago called Podia. I was an early adopter of Podia back then, and it was a little clunky, but boy, they have really come a long way, and I love the way that it presents itself. These are mostly product/course creator programs. It's in the league of Kajabi and that kind of thing, but just not as restrictive and expensive. Kajabi's great, but it's very expensive, and you can only have a limited number of products on it. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. And the other thing I wanted was simplicity. I've seen all these YouTube thumbnails where somebody looks like this, Mercury retrograde. Well, I've thought, what would be wrong with just a plain white background with big, bold black letters, Mercury RX? Would that get attention? I don't know, but it would sure stand out because everybody else is doing all the, the busy graphics. So I was like, you know what? I want to go to clean lines, not a lot of clutter. And that, to me, is better, higher energy. Well, that's what this offers because it's just simplistic. But it delivers courses really, really well. Even back then and still now, they use one of the best video hosting platforms in the country. It's called Wisteria. So what I have done is created both the 101 course and the Fun Astrology or the Horary course in Podia already, and all the other products. So if you have bought something in the past, it is already in there. Now, here's the problem, and this is why I'm talking to you. Otherwise, I would just send out an email, I'd put an announcement up or something, but not the drawn-out explanation. I want you to understand what I'm dealing with here. WordPress is a SQL database, and it's complicated, and it builds all these tables. The courses are on 2 tables that none of the other, like WordPress, WooCommerce export programs can't grab from those tables. So I can't get the emails out of those of you who are in the courses. If you've bought a webinar or the horary practicum or the jobs report or anything like that, I have your email. And here's the way it's going to work. For those of you who I have your email, so all the non-course purchases, here in about, I don't know, this is Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and send this out. You know what? I'm going to send it out today. I'm going to send out these emails to those of you who have the other products, and it's going to come from Podia and say you're being invited by hightimelineliving.com, I'm going to show you the website in a second, to join the horary practicum. And all you need to do, I'll show you the process, is you go in and register, very simple, like you do with every other website, email and password, and it will then take you straight to that product. And then it will always be there in your products tab when you go back in. It's really easy to get to. The course is going to be easier to get to. So that's for all the non-course people. Just watch your email, and if you don't get one, then I'll have you drop a thing in the chat bot, but let me show you that in just a second. If you don't get an email, you go, wait a minute, I bought something. I want you to contact me, and we're going to make sure you get your product on the new platform. Or I'll just send you a download or whatever it takes. We'll get you fixed. I want this to be as simple, easy, and painless, where when you think about this little transition and you're sitting there typing in your email in a new program and kind of not liking it or whatever, that you think about Mercury retrograde 2025, summer 2025, crashed the funastrology.com website, blew it up because it's going away. WordPress is out. But this is why I say that even when we look at this, these are positive aspects connecting this. Because the positive thing that came from my earthquake is that I'm going to be so much first simpler, easier, less focused on the technology. I'm not going to be having to upgrade stuff and fix stuff, and stuff's going to not be breaking and all of that. Oh, Podia might have some downtime. That's just normal. But I looked at their track record going back to 2023, which was published, and they only had one day where there was some downtime. So that's pretty good. We can handle that. But it also is going to give me so much of a better base to do things like webinars, additional programs, exactly the direction that I want to go with more learning material. And I especially want to be supporting those of you who are raising kids. There's going to be a lot of focus here on family dynamics, family astrology, teaching your kids to look to the sky as above, so below, to tune into intuition. It's much broader than astrology. And that's why I chose the name High Timeline Living. And that's the new website. So let me just show it to you here, because I just have adopted this. I love the saying, I'm living my highest timeline. It makes you think in that moment, whatever it is, jump up. And by the way, and I saw it coming in here. In fact, let me just show you this one page. I'll just show you instead of tell you. I have the audiobooks tab. This latest book by Fred Dodson right here, The Upscaling Method, talks about how to live the highest timeline life, how you can scale yourself up. That's on Audible or Apple Books as well, Audible and Apple Books. If you'd like to go pick that up, that is a great, quick, it's a method, it's a technique. The book is fast and easy to listen to. It is a great resource for taking yourself higher. The reason I wanted to walk you through this is to just show you some of the comparisons. You want to leave a speak pipe? Boom, done. These open in separate windows. You want to listen to past episodes? Done. There they are, and then you can add more. Same thing with Subconscious Mind Mastery. Same thing with Old Soul, New Soul. Now, here is the announcement. So if you're in the 101 or the horary course, here's what I need you to do. Come here, hightimelineliving.com. It's right up there at the top. Make a note of that, hightimelineliving.com. What I need you to do is go to this little chat bot down here in the lower right and put in your email from the Fun Astrology site. So the same email that you use to log in there, put in here. And then you can hit Shift, Enter. It'll take you down a line, or you can just drop it in there as separate messages. It does not matter. I will get it. And then I'd like you to put either H if you're in horary, 101 if you're in the 101 course, or both if you're in both. Or you can put a B. I want to make this as easy as possible. So 101, H, or B. And then what I'd like you to do is to give me your name, because that will help me search when I go back to the database. I'm going to confirm your purchase, and then what I'm going to do is send you this link. Now, I can't show you that because it's on the back side, But basically, it's just a little box like that. Oh, when you do all of that, should look like that when you're finished. This is really slick. I like this a lot better than the little chatbot that I had before. This is great. Here's our next webinar, which I guess today is kind of an announcement as well. This is going to be held on August 31st, and it'll be at 1 p.m. That's a Sunday. We had good luck. We had a good crowd for that, so we were going to do it again. Kristin and me, it is $5 now, and then it's going to go up to $10 on August 18th. You can see that right there. So if you'd like to see a webinar that we're going to put together about the eclipses coming up in the fall, and obviously how they correlate and relate to the Aries vortex, we're going to be showing that and talking through that and taking your questions. Very interactive. Now, if you want to get into the 101 course, I would really love it if you would come over here and pick it up. And the same price, everything. It's already there. It's there ready to go. Now, here's Kristin's lunar calendar. That's really cool. Boom. That's right at your fingertips. Then you can go in and see what are the red days, what are the green days. Here, these are all direct links. So this takes you into Lucky Stars. This takes you, if you want to donate, support us with a little cup of coffee. Here's the webinar we just did with Elisa and Kristin. Here's the Kundalini and chai tea recipe that a lot of people ask about. It's free. Here's the retrograde calendar. Another window opens, and there are all the retrograde planets for 2025. This is the jobs by astrology. I just put a bunch of jobs together, broken out by sign, so you can use your rising and your sun sign. This is the announcement about the horary course. The Robert Glasscock course is no longer available, but I'm going to redo it, and I'm going to make it simpler, shorter, not intermediate level, beginner level, and it's going to be cheaper as well. So I'm going to be working on that next, but that's what that will be. And then this is a really cool page. The readings page takes you to who we're working with now on readings. And I'm so excited about this. Kristin saw it the other day, and she was excited about it. It just looks really good. Don't they look great? What a team. I'm privileged to work with such amazing ladies, and I really appreciate them as well. Now, you can just close all these other tabs. It's like anything else that made it where it opens it up. Now, this is the thing that I love about Podia, is there's this community that you can join. It's free, but you sign up for it kind of like it's a product. So you sign into it. This is online where I'm going to hang out. I'm going to be over in Facebook, just checking in there. Kristin is still managing Discord, but eventually we'd like to move conversations over here. So if you want to engage and hang out and talk with me, this is where that's going to take place. This is going to be loaded up, I hope, and there will be a gathering place for us to just have a good conversation. So there's the moon calendar. There's the readings tab. All of this is up here. Now, here's the combination of the High Timeline site. These are those meditations that I've done, and these are really great. And I remembered, these are excellent. I don't think that, actually, I'm still tweaking on this. This, I don't think, is going to work in the Podia environment. I don't think there's a way that I can put a link up there to play audio, but I'm going to check with them. That's in there to remind me. But at least you can click on these, and it takes you right over to the Soundwise app where you can purchase them there, and then you can download their app so you can listen to these meditations right on your phone. And then here are the audiobooks. I showed you this earlier. There's the Upscaling Method, Element Series, Steve's books, and then there's a bunch others that I have done for Fred. I wanted to get that looking kind of like, we've done some books, haven't we? Like, whoa, is there a bottom to this thing? But yeah, I wanted it to look kind of like it does when you go on Audible. That's how you search Audible right there. So I'm really happy with the way this whole thing laid out. It was 4 days of intense work. But what you do, now I'm already signed in here. Let me log out. When you come into this and you just load up hightimelineliving.com, you're going to get this. Go to log in. Now, I've already done it, so I'm going to put my email and password in here, and I'll just see you when it goes inside. But here's what it looks like. So you click log in, and voila, Now, I've put all the products in there. It takes you to your product page. Isn't that cool? It even has a search box. So once we get so many products that you don't know what all you have, well, you say, I want to go back to that horary practicum. There it is. Now, the reason this is grayed out, you'll notice the 2 webinars are grayed out because the way this thing is designed to do this particular function is that it thinks that this was a webinar and that this was the replay video, which it will be in when we do a real one, but I had to do these for, a slug to get them in there. And this is what they suggested. So it looks like it's ended. See, it looks like it's over. Well, it's really not. And that's the replay video. So there it is. And both of those are, and there's the chart rectification program. So if you have that, that's what that looks like. There's a 30-minute instructional video and then a 45-minute podcast link to the technique and then a PDF that you can download. Boom, you open that up and then download it. And that walks you through everything. That is a must-do kind of thing. Now, here's another, okay, so I just got up. Now, you can go back to your products by just clicking here, or you can go here and go to products right there. So that's how you're going to find your way around. Here's the 101 course, and it looks so good. Oh, my gosh. I was trying to do this earlier, and I went to the second one. That's why it will pick up. Actually, that was really cool because I had tried to record this earlier, and it just didn't work, so I stepped away from it. Mercury retrograde needs some cooling off sometimes. And I was here. So when you come back to the course, it will take you back to where you left off. And I just proved it right there. But there's the beginning of the course, and here are all the modules. There's everything that's in there. And you can see all of that when you take a look at it. If you're not in there and you want to learn astrology methodically and kind of the way we do it around here, fun, hopefully, for you, that's available as well. There's the webinar that's coming up, half price until the 18th, so jump on that. Now, here's the, like I said, the reason that this is so important is because on September 14th, on Sunday, when I go to bed, that's going to go, the old site, the old Fun Astrology website is going to go away. And I can't make it, I'm going to get rid of the servers and WordPress. It's literally, it is, when we talk about earthquake, it is going to, a tsunami is going to come over all of that old structure and take it out. Very Pluto transformational. Tear it down, rebuild it better. We're following the pyramid. We're following this astrology in this very process. So a little bit of pain, and that's what we've all experienced. A little bit of jitteriness. Everybody's still on edge. A little bit of uncertainty. But just know that I will be monitoring that chat bot down there. So if you have any difficulties with it, you can just come in and leave me a message, and I will get back with you. It would be better if you did that after you have done this login process up here. I will get these, and I will get you walked through this, I promise. The thing I did, I could have done something, and I didn't even entertain it. A couple of the suggestions were you could hire somebody on Fiverr and get them to build the SQL to suck out those emails from the course program in WordPress. I was like, you guys have entrusted me with your private information, your emails, something that is very sacred. I'm not about to allow another set of eyes on this planet. And I can't even, well, I can see them, but I'd have to go look one by one. And believe me, I've got better things to do. So, no. So I cannot reach out to you. You're going to have to reach out to me. But this will be so simple. Because if you're already logged in and you get that invitation, you click on it, you'll come right to this page. And if you're in the 101 course, it'll be right there. So this is going to be fairly painless. I'm going to be spending some more time online, but that's okay. It's absolutely worth it. So that's the deal of what we're going through here. And I wanted to show you and explain to you so that you understood and hopefully are okay with the process that I've worked out. And it's going to be so much better. And that's when we look at the astrology of this and we think about the positives that are behind these challenges then it's like, well, okay. I mean, is anybody against taking a little hit in order to grow? How about if we tear some old structures down that don't work and rebuild them so much better? I've just been through this. I just thought about that. And even during Mercury retrograde, it fits. Repair, revise, redo, reconstruct. And did it in a way that it's going to be better for you, it's going to be better for me, and I'm going to be able to grow from this platform without all the tech stuff. And that little microcosm is exactly what's happening in the sky. So if a tsunami crashes over your head, and even if it tears down your house, which I'm glad nobody, at least in the United States, had that happen, but certainly some people closer to the ground zero of the epicenter have had problems, and we pray for them and realize that through all of this, as the challenges and the changes come, that it's going to be for our good in the end, far better. So use this little analogy to laugh at Mercury retrogrades in the future. And when stuff doesn't work, I can't tell you how many things have not worked. Log on to a website. That email's not recognized. It's the email I've used. That kind of stuff. When you just laugh at it and realize, we go through this every about 88 days. And also realize from this little example that things are going to be so much better on the other side of some short-term pain. So I wish you a wonderful, great week. The big aspect happens Wednesday evening. Mars moving into Libra. Mars is not happy in Libra, but we're going to take that opposition and work with it and realize that it could affect some things around relationships. It could also have you square up with things that are important to you, because Libra, or Venus, rules the second house in zodiacal order of Taurus. So there's that as well. And it could affect those areas of value and also relationships. Partnerships could come under this Mars aspect. I think this thing's been building for quite a while. Just like we do have a full moon this week. And as the moon is moving over, you put all of that energy together. And that's the kind of thing that I think is creating this little mini cauldron in conjunction with, or in cooperation with, the Great Pyramid. So that's the week. That's the process. That's what's going on around here. I thank you so much for your time, and I will see you on the podcasts. And Kristin and I will be on here on YouTube with the Sagittarius rising chart on Wednesday. Have a great week. Sending you lots of love. Thanks for your time. We'll see you next week.